It's still moving here, man. It ain't us.
It's the water. That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
You're gonna need a bigger potion.
Dead but not dead. He came home. You like scary movies?
Water! It's something in water! It's in the face of that!
Oh my gosh.
Oh, all right. Well, we're back.
We're back. We kind of took some time off. We did see this movie opening night
Yes.
at the theater, and we honestly walked out like this. All the way
Yep.
from the auditorium that we were in to
From a theater
auditorium we were in to our vehicle.
Yeah.
That runs on petrol.
Petrol.
And we were just quiet.
The whole
the whole
time. I'm really glad that we took some time.
Yeah, because that night we recorded our review of the film, and
Or lack thereof.
yeah. And we thought, no, we need to really just think about this.
Need to let it marinate.
Let
it gestate, if you will.
Yeah, and I still have some problems. This is not a perfect movie at all by any means.
No.
You saw it again.
I did. I saw it a second time, and I'm extremely happy that I did. It made me think about it more. It gave me a chance to mull over some things, and also better understand a couple things that I think happened. That, like, the first time around, I was like, "Is that what I think?"
Right.
So
yeah. So
my number one problem still partially exists, though.
Oh yeah. I know what that is.
But,
yeah.
But most
the biggest problem I have with it.
Any other complaints I had of more or less pretty much diminished. As you mentioned, it's not perfect in any way, shape, or form. Fans of the franchise need to understand we're not going to get a perfect film. If Ridley himself couldn't do it again, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
what you're expecting, you know.
I'm honestly, I'm a huge fan of Prometheus, and I love Covenant, and this harkened back to those two films. But I kind of have issue with that. I'm glad that it does, but I'm not. If that makes sense.
I feel the same way, but I think I know why I feel that way. And I think even though I do enjoy Prometheus, I enjoy it a lot more than I enjoy Covenant. I still enjoy Covenant, but I have a lot of problems with how quickly that movie got things moving. We jumped real fast to make Prometheus a part of the Alien franchise and Covenant. Way too fucking quick.
But that wasn't Ridley Scott.
No, that was the studio
interference.
Yeah. A little bit of Ridley, but and
I think that might be the problem here too. I'm not sure. I don't know if. When we get to that, we'll talk about that.
I love Mr. Scott. He's an amazing filmmaker.
I love Ridley Scott.
However, over the years, I think I've become sour about his level of gatekeeping with the franchise. Yes, he's responsible for the beginning of the franchise, by all means, but it wasn't just Ridley Scott.
Right.
You know, we've got the whole legacy of H.R. Geiger and Dan
Dan
O'Bannon.
O'Bannon, yeah.
I mean, so it's just the level of gatekeeping that Ridley Scott has with the Alien franchise started to get on my nerves, I think, at some point. And I think that answers my question: is the franchise supposed to be in Ridley Scott's hands? Necessarily, I don't think it needs to be in anybody's specific hands. I think the
Right.
filmmakers and the fans need to stop thinking that it belongs in anybody's hands
Right.
specifically. With Romulus, there's a fair amount of fan service.
Yeah.
A lot. Okay, a lot. But I also, at my second viewing, I found a good portion of that more of connecting it to the universe than fan service. But the fan service moments stood out even more, and a couple of them on the sore thumb
Oh yeah,
level.
yeah, yeah.
Don't you know?
So I mean, it, it wasn't to the extent that Disney did with Star Wars,
Yeah,
with the
no.
sequels.
This
You
was
know,
not a Hail
sequel
Mary
trilogy.
of the last Jedi film.
I mean,
So it's not that bad. Nowhere near close. That movie was
no.
specifically
I mean, the things that harken back that are done well. I'm not going to say the opening of the film, but after the Nostromo opening part of the film, everything on the colony looks
mhm.
fucking good.
There's no doubt.
Fuck, yeah.
The film collectively looked it's
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Stunning.
And
There's only one visual problem I have with the whole film,
yeah,
honestly.
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Uh,
But visually the retro sci-fi aesthetic that the
yes,
franchise
it's
is known
perfect.
for
It's
is
perfect.
there, and it's glaring
Yeah,
and it's fantastic. I love seeing that. I feel like maybe that's been lacking in the
yeah,
franchise, and
yeah.
that was
But
such a
but
welcome return.
but the mining colony on the
Yes.
planet, I thought was great. I was
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
I loved everything about it. Really, I mean,
It
it looked
it
great. I'm like, oh, we're getting characters here,
yeah.
which yeah, we got some characters and okay, okay, let's talk about characters for a minute.
Yeah.
Characterizations.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
the original Alien. Uh, the characters in that are memorable. You remember their names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, most of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of them.
There's a
But
couple,
yeah,
but for the
okay.
most part,
So
excellent
so
characterization.
aliens, you fucking
I
remember their names
yeah.
too because they're
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie, Rain and Andy
Yeah.
and Rook.
And Rook. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
those are the rest of the characters. I have to look up Tyler K.
Yeah.
Bjorn and Navarro.
Kay, I believe was her name, the sister, the girl that played his sister. In my second viewing, I felt that character's presence a lot more.
She's the one that got.
Oh yeah,
Craig.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Craig.
yeah.
I don't know.
She's Prego. Yeah,
Prego.
yeah. Prego. I will say that at the end of the day, I didn't really enjoy Rain and Andy.
Okay. Let's talk about Andy, David Johnson's character.
Yes.
A lot of people are praising his acting chops.
Yeah,
honestly, and I get it. I understand it. I did. I did like Rain and Andy. I love the dynamic
Yes.
of the two, and then when Andy becomes a different character
Yes.
within the same character,
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
I thought it was really great and a unique turn for characterization within the film to have that swap back and forth.
Mhm.
It's kind of like getting an Alien franchise android from each film all in one film, which again, but I feel like story wise, that was not just fan service because it serviced the film itself and it made for enjoyable parts of the film.
Yeah, and I have heard some people complain about that. Oh,
Yeah, they're like, oh, Android with Down syndrome, but
yeah,
I think
no, it's
I didn't see it that way.
Now, Rain
but,
did explain that.
Yeah,
that her father, reprogrammed him that way.
Yep, yeah.
So I mean, let it be. Let it be what it is.
Enjoy the good aspects of characters we got.
Yeah.
Enjoy the characters that were fleshed out that we can enjoy. And I did enjoy them both. And I enjoyed the fact that Although towards the end we get a little fan servicey with Rain.
Yeah.
Overall,
We
I
go.
did
We
not
go.
feel that she was a rehash of the heroine of the franchise as much
Right.
as
She
like
was
in
no Ripley. I
no,
mean, she was
no,
far
but
from
like
it.
in Covenant, I felt they were really pushing like the Ripley feel
Yeah.
in Covenant, and
I,
like it was a bit much. I mean, she even had the same haircut at the end of the movie, like an alien. It was bad. Anyway, but with Rain, I felt like she was her own character. Now, was it super in depth and super intriguing? Not necessarily,
No.
but it was enough, and it also wasn't a rehash of a heroine we've seen in the franchise.
Right.
So
Let's talk about they're mining on this, this planet, and they want to get off the planet.
yeah,
So
they're locked in the contracts. That
Wayland Yutani, which they're they've merged at this point. Keep expanding their contract.
Keep tacking on more and more time.
There's no way they're ever going to leave, and the planet is on the dark side of the planet, so they never see the sun. Which I'd be depressed too.
Yeah,
and I would want to get off of the planet. Well, they find the space station. That this part really bugs me, and they're going to go up to the space station and see what's on it. Well, why is it a derelict space station? I mean, Wayland Yutani, I mean, they should know what's going on there.
You would think.
And maybe this had just happened.
Maybe. But also, as much as you think Wayland Yutani would be on top of that shit, franchise-wise, they do have a history of losing ships. So, I mean, it was maybe a poor decision. I feel like we should have one step there instead of like going to the Nostromo with a ship, and then that ship goes to the derelict spacecraft, and this is the spacecraft that they're going to. Whatever.
This exposition could have come out later in the film.
Yeah.
Because the problem that I have with the opening is that, the Nostromo blew up. Okay. 3 nuclear explosions blew that fucker up. Okay. I counted them. Okay. And would there really be anything left of the Nostromo? I doubt it. But here's the other problem. The alien is cocooned, the big chap is cocooned in the middle of the wreckage.
Yeah.
Not wreckage, but I mean, Ripley was headed away from the Nostromo, the explosion, and the big chap gets harpooned and it's coming back into the engines, the thrusters, and she blows him out into space, which would send him on a collision course to hit the debris of the Nostromo.
I mean, technically, she blew him out of the goddamn airlock.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
we're making jumps.
Yeah,
they're gonna irritate a lot of people, probably.
Yeah, and this is why
it does irritate me a little bit, but at the same time, we had to make something happen story-wise. So it's not my favorite idea,
right?
But it didn't completely ruin it for me.
Right.
What did end up kind of shitting all over that was the fact that when we've introduced the fact that Big Chap is still there.
Right.
We're not really sure if it's alive or dead, or we're assuming it's, at least they're going to be able to mine some DNA from it or something, which they may or may not do.
We'll get to that.
But then later on, when we find out what happens, because they take it to the Romulus and Remus space station, and of course do what they always do.
What they do best.
But of course, the Big Chap was not dead, and it wreaked havoc, and they eventually killed it. But it's just small exposition we get, and all we get is just a dead Big Chap.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, yes, did Big Chap, like, was it in the alien itself? It's just a xenomorph. It's nothing special, but it's
the first one we've ever seen.
Exactly. It's special to the franchise.
Right.
So for it just to end up being dead.
Honestly, when we saw it, okay, you see it basically crucified from a hole in the wall, chains and everything that it's hanging from. And when Rook's, shows everyone, like, oh, it's look, um, I'm like, no, it's not. And then you see a close up of,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I really want to walk out of the theater right now. I really do, because going into this, I kind of had that spoiled a little bit, and I was trying to stay away from trailers and everything, and boom, there, Big Chap's in the movie. Like, fuck you! Why'd you have to do? So anyway,
Well, I mean,
so I was expecting, like Big Chap maybe to be leading all
like
these
a
aliens,
return to
which
Big
yeah,
Chap.
which
For
which
him
would have
to
been
actually
great.
be a part of it.
We didn't get to see Big Chap do anything, but he's fucking dead. Like,
It's a bit sad.
Yeah,
It is a bit of a waste to use it, and then it just end up being dead.
right.
It's a catch-22 for me, because I really would have loved, if we're going to utilize it, then let's utilize it. Let's see it in action again. It was useless in that aspect, for that to be the catalyst for everything, and then it just to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that did suck. Now that
Okay.
we've mentioned Rook, we should probably talk about that.
Yes, let's talk about Rook and how fucking weird CGI,
Okay,
fucking
so
whatever.
here's my one visual
Coming from Disney, I expect.
problem with the film, and that is the initial reveal of Rook, because they beat around the bush about it, because we've got Alec McGinnis back. At least his face is. Because of course they were a line of synthetics, and so they would all look the same. Yes,
right.
but it looked awful. Just
It did.
terrible.
It horrible.
Terrible.
And-
now, I
and-
know this is a lower budget film, but the budget was still $80 million.
Yeah. Here's my problem with it, though. We already seen this in the original Alien with Ash's head on the table. Okay. Now we get Ash's Rook, his upper torso on the table. Fuck that. I'm like, if they would have found him and he was walking around and maybe had his arm missing or something like that, I would have been like, okay.
Ooh, maybe we could have had like a synthetic showdown at some point.
Oh, that see,
that could have been cool.
Fetty. Listen to us.
Saying. But I do enjoy it. It's a joke / fan service thing. I do. His name's Rook. That's fine.
Yes.
And of course, that's in reference to Bishop from Aliens.
Yes,
gets better though. The visual does get better.
It does get better, but still, the problem that I had with it was it happened in Alien. Don't call back. Let's just not do that.
Don't worry, it happened in Alien 3 also. They do it with Bishop instead.
Yeah, but I mean,
fucking hate that
movie. I know you hate that movie. I actually like Alien 3. The assembly cut of Alien 3. It might not have been so bad if the face looked.
I didn't mind them involving the character. It doesn't bother me. The visual effect bothered me. I didn't mind it. It was a catalyst of everything. But before we do get introduced to Rook, I think we should talk about the face huggers.
Yes.
We get introduced to face huggers, which they're storing on the ship, much like David from Prometheus was storing aliens. Back to what we were talking about earlier. I have a hard time with
all of them.
All of this. No, yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. But like the culmination of everything as a whole, because Romulus is the first film of the franchise to culminate both ends of the spectrum. We've got storylines and things from Prometheus and Covenant, and then things from Aliens, and so on and so forth. But the problem being is there's still a small part of me that wishes that maybe we would have never done Prometheus and Covenant in the first place. Because there's a part of me that still just enjoys the fact that there's a fucking queen alien. She lays eggs. Facehuggers come out. They impregnate you. They burst out. They wreak fucking havoc. It was semi-simplistic, and it worked, and it was great. And then we bring Prometheus and Covenant into the whole thing, and it changes the
that
whole spectrum.
explains.
And I
Yeah.
do enjoy Prometheus. I think it is actually a really excellent sci-fi film. But you read a lot of things. There's so much stuff to read. But one of the more recent things I've read, which I've read on multiple occasions, and I don't think we're ever going to get an official answer from anybody about it. But the whole idea of Prometheus was the fact that it was never supposed to be a direct prequel to Alien. It was simply supposed to be set in the same universe, which even then, I don't even know why Ridley even bothered with that in the first place. It should have just never connected to aliens, let it exist completely on its own in its own universe. There's a part of me that wishes that maybe that was just never a thing, and a Romulus could have been a different, possibly better film without it, or it could have possibly been worse because we have less to work with. I don't know. But, then I guess we never would have had face huggers.
Hundreds of them?
I think they gave us a number at some point.
Yeah.
It was like 38, 48, something like that. I don't know.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of face huggers.
Now, let me, I've been thinking about this. When there's something in the Watcher, okay, when all these...
Oh, you mean so? And what?
Yeah. When we have all of these face huggers, do you feel anything like is there any weight to that? Is it?
No, there's too many.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me go back to Aliens, where Newt and Ripley are in with the two face huggers.
You mean one of the best sequences in the whole fucking franchise?
One of the scariest sequences.
Terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we don't get that here.
That's gone.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And it could have that scene could have been really good. I mean, it could have been really good. Like, I was looking forward to that. I knew there was some form of sequence in the water.
Yeah.
And there was face huggers, and I was expecting something truly terrifying.
Yeah.
But
what we got was an action scene.
Yeah.
Or action scenes.
Yeah. And it
kind of, to me, it kind of fell flat on its face. Hugger.
If we were, I don't mind. If you want to give me an army of face huggers, do it later.
Yeah.
But honestly, at the same time, the what works about the face hugger is in small chunks. The face hugger is arguably the most terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Part of the creature is in the Xenomorph family as a whole.
Yeah. Well, what is so scary about the whole Xenomorph is there's an alien egg. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't know what. Well, Kane has no clue what it is. Along with the audience, the first time they see it, like, what the fuck is that? And then it opens. It's like, oh, it gets creepy. And then you got all the viscera and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's fucking great. Get out of there, dude.
Yeah,
get the fuck away from that.
There was no fucking eggs in Romulus, and I understand why, because we don't have a queen. Right. But again, if Prometheus and Covenant didn't exist,
we might have had
Romulus would have had alien eggs in it, and face huggers would have been scary.
All right.
Maybe.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Again, the caveat: I enjoy Prometheus, and sort of like Covenant. That sequence should have been so much better.
Yeah.
And after that, as you mentioned, it's an action sequence, but not like in a good way, like from Aliens.
Yeah.
Does what guy play fucking baseball, and does he have the best reflexes out of any human in the universe? He midair knocks away like 4 face huggers. Nobody can do that. Nobody in the history of the franchise has been able to do that. Can it happen once or twice? Sure. But especially if you're, you're in the mode and survivor mode and you know that they're going to be flying at you, fine. But to see so many and they're constantly flying and jumping like that takes away everything that was so terrifying, as you mentioned, to begin with. The fact that, oh, what's this going on? And then out of nowhere, it just
I mean, he's got the reflexes of a.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, the other male character, Tyler, does it later on, but like he does it like once in that sequence, which was the one good face hugger sequence, which was unique and I enjoyed. He did it like once in that sequence, and then I'm like, okay, fine. It if you've got so many things flying at you and you're expecting.
I don't know why. You got balls flying at your face?
If you're in a Xenobukaki party.
There you go. Bukake.
Anyway, too many face huggers.
Mhm.
It was just too much, and it took everything scary about them
Away from them.
away, and it could have been much better. It was cool. It was kind of badass when Andy did finally wake up and he catches the face hugger that's going to drop on top of
Oh,
Tyler.
yeah,
that was cool.
That was
that
cool.
happened. And you're like, oh, because every once in a while it is nice to have a cliche badass moment.
Yeah.
And that happens later on in the film as well.
Yeah.
It ends on a not so great fan service note. But
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Oh,
We'll get
you know
to
what?
that. What?
I forgot about this, and it happens really early in the film, and is one fan service moment I really enjoyed because it's blink and you miss it. It's quick. It doesn't mess with shit.
Okay.
The cornbread line. When you first meet Andy.
Yes.
In the dining hall with her.
Okay.
He
Yes.
walks up. I can't remember verbatim what the line is, but she says, "Give me some of your cornbread, or let me see that cornbread," or something like that. It's real quick and you miss it.
I remember,
but as Aliens being my favorite film of the franchise, I was like,
Okay,
that was the
yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio meme. I was like, yeah.
That meme.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So
I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See,
but as a child, I made
watch us. And
not
you'll find
everybody.
out.
Not everybody spent their childhood making jokes about cornbread just because of one movie like I did. So I guess I'm just lame.
No, I love cornbread myself. I fucking love cornbread.
Also, you don't have room to talk because you played Prophecy at the swimming pool. So
That's right. Yeah.
Though, you know what? That's why we're true horror fans.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, but
if you've never heard of the movie Prophecy,
go watch it.
Came out the
'Cause
same
it's
year
fun.
Alien did.
It's right. It's not as good, but still super fun.
Yes, it deserves a remake.
It does.
More on that later. I said moron.
Anyway, jumping back ahead. Sorry, I
Yes,
derailed
yes,
us for cornbread, but it's important to me.
If it's important to him, it's important to me. And if it's important to us, it should be important to you.
That's right. See what you did there?
See, senor.
Man, you were like thinking just as fast as they were fucking batting.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Sometimes this brain works.
Anyway, so yeah, we'll jump back forward. Too many face huggers. We both agree, and I think everyone should agree that just made them not scary, and it's really too bad. Too many face huggers, but it did give us the catalyst for the first birth
of an alien,
of a
xenomorph that we've ever seen.
The proper
and
the alien, the xenomorph.
Yeah.
And
it's fantastic.
It is.
It's genuinely scary.
It is.
Honestly,
from the moment, I will give them that the chaos of the facehugger scene left me. If you haven't seen a trailer, because the trailer fucking ruined it, but if you hadn't seen a trailer, you were left reeling to not know who is going to be impregnated. You wouldn't know who's getting face hugged at that point in time.
Yeah.
So arguably the chaos did lean into that, and it helped that, even though it was bad. But when she finally does, you would be surprised by that. And the moment it actually gets on her, from then on, the whole
gets on her.
From the moment it really jams it down her throat.
You can't get never mind.
Okay, it's impossible not to make sexual references.
Yes.
Anytime you talk about this franchise, the birth, the character in general, the design was always extremely sexual because of its original art creators.
I want to say something about this. We do get the alien birth, but when it jumps on her face, and the problem that I have with the face hugger isn't on her face that long, because they pull it off. They figure out how to pull it off. If you freeze the tail of a face hugger, I'm like, that's go back to your script and figure a better way. Honestly,
there could have been a better way. Arguably, it technically works because in the franchise, there's not been a specific opportunity for that chain of events to have that, because they did
True.
place the cryo stuff early on before, so it's not just
But it is just.
but it is just it is. But at the same time, they took the steps to somewhat defend their shitty decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they gave their terrible plot armor
Yeah,
with
there
that
you go. There you go.
sequence.
Yeah.
So,
So
and arguably you could say the gestation period has never been specifically set, and it has varied in every single film throughout the whole franchise.
yes, but
But this one was really fucking quick.
They get the face hugger off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And if you look at the behind the scenes, the fingers on the face hugger have little like spikes sticking out on it. So this will rip your shit off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean they're long spikes too. So they're like
Interesting.
you know. So I'm like, you know, should have ripped her scalp off, you know. But so the face hugger's on her for a whole 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe a little more, maybe 10
longer. I
maybe
mean,
10.
they do sit there and they have a whole discussion with Rook, and they're talking about it. So it does. The length of time to the chest burster bothers me more than the length of time the alien was on her to be impregnated.
Yes.
So because the chest burster, that's so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
Because I mean, look at Kane.
Yeah.
You know, the face huggers off of Kane. It felt like it was hours.
Yeah.
Hours before he ate anything.
And maybe they were just misrepresenting things and how long it takes to get back to the ship and all that. But she's running the whole, so it feels very fast.
It does. It
feels
like
very, very fast. It feels rushed.
Yeah. It feels like maybe 10, 15 minutes.
And the sequence itself actually happening, I very much enjoyed.
So did I. I mean, that whole scanner thing, that
was cool. That was a cool idea. I know it was kind of a throwaway, and let's just stick something there to make it cool, but it worked. It was cool.
Yeah, I thought I didn't have a problem. The only problem I had with it was, I saw two trailers for this film, but that was in both.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when I saw it in the teaser and the trailer, I'm like, okay, that is kind of cool. I really like that. I really
should
dig
have
that.
left that out completely.
Yeah, I should have.
That would you not knowing who gets impregnated until the actual viewing of the film would have been way more intense.
Oh yeah, would have been so much better. And seeing the thing come out of her mouth in the trailer too, it's like we could have done without that in the trailer.
That was really elongated.
Yeah,
in the movie that took extra long. I do.
Yeah.
Commend them for that, because that was extra, and we got that twice actually. Because the one guy, he gets like kind of halfway down. The scene.
Yeah.
So, and that was gross.
Yeah.
Watching him pull it out was gross. I'll give him that. That was a nice touch. So yeah, chest burster scene.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Alien, because nothing is. And let's face it, you know what? And
honestly, I think this chest burster scene is probably. It is up there.
Oh, it's top tier, 100%. Yeah,
it's not Kane for sure.
No,
and it's not Spaceballs. Thank God.
Romulus brought it.
Yeah.
Would I have requested about 3 gallons more of blood? Because it was so grotesque and disgusting and bloody in the original Alien.
Yes.
But I did enjoy it in Romulus. It was a terrifying sequence. And I really, at first, I didn't know how I felt about it, because it isn't your stereotypical chest burst as you would normally, because usually it's a breakthrough and it's like a perfect, it comes out and it just breaks right through.
This is
it's a perfect circle.
It's more like right here.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, you can see how it it busted through her rib cage.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be just a perfect breakthrough. It makes realistic sense. And I do enjoy the fact that they did that. Also, like, That chick was so small. There's no, there's no room. Maybe that's why it was so fast. There's no
Maybe,
room
yeah.
for him to be in there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he sneezed and he was like, "Oh shit,
Oh
sorry."
shit! What happened?
That chick was-
Hey, hello.
oh,
What the?
hey everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
But,
that's possible. Yeah. I
but
mean,
I did enjoy the way they
Xenomorph
did that.
sneeze?
It was unique. It was terrifying. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was gruesome. The chick that plays the sister, that's regular Prego at this point. Her reactions and screams elevate the sequences she does
Right.
that in. I noticed it a lot, and it really helps out. And
Yeah,
especially in
because
the
this
chest
time in
burster scene.
space, we could hear it. In the next few scenes, we see that it is. I'm looking for.
Shed
Yeah, shed.
circumcised.
It's shed its skin, but when we see the shedding, it's fairly big.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things that I noticed about that. It's like, that's kind of big. It should be a little bit smaller. I think that was Fetty trying to say, hey, some time has elapsed here.
Yeah, I think so.
So, maybe not enough time.
The next thing that happens is probably one of my favorite things.
Oh God,
if
yeah.
not my favorite thing about the whole film, because they took a big swing and they hit a home run with this, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, I would agree with that opinion.
And
sure.
We've never gotten this in the franchise,
No.
and it's always been an unseen thing. But I never hated the idea of them ever giving me.
Right.
I do enjoy the terrifying aspect of not knowing that part is fine.
Right.
But
knowing now is like, okay,
fucking cool.
Yeah.
So, and it was, and I say that there's no egg in Romulus, but there kind of was, because we do, for the first time in franchise history, we see what happens when a full grown Xenomorph is birthed after it sheds its chest burster skin.
Right.
And it is just glorious. I can't think of it. I mean, it's disgusting, but it was, for a fan of the franchise, or it just a film goer in general, unique, grotesque, super, just outright outstanding, in my opinion.
And you know how you capture a unique Xenomorph?
How?
Unique up on him. I'm a dad. Does it show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right.
We are both. I mean,
we are. Yeah.
Double the dad jokes can happen on this podcast.
Yes,
so
it can.
It is what it is. You're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
There's no gray area. Either it's
no
dad
gray.
joke or it's abrasive, uncalled.
There's gray area here. That's
there is. Yeah. I'm not gonna show you, because if I glint to one side just enough, I might be able to rival you, if not more.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
right.
So
anyway,
we get this cocoon.
Yeah, we get the cocoon of the full grown Xenomorph. Xenomorph. Wow, I've never said Xenomorph this many times before in one setting, and it's getting hard.
All right, let's move on.
Speaking of getting hard,
we're not pouring on the Macau.
What I really love.
See you next Wednesday.
In a very non-gross way. I don't know how to say I love this aspect without sounding gross, but again, going back to HR and his art of the Xenomorph and everything like that, was the Xenomorph. Everything about it has always been vaguely sexual.
Yeah,
and they really leaned into that with this cocoon birthing.
Yes, they did.
Thing.
But
it works perfectly because it's such a great homage to everything in the franchise.
Yeah.
This is when they have the perfect amount of something new and inventive and fan service at the same time,
right?
Or franchise service, all culminating into one thing. This is it. Yeah. This is it, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, we got sort of a lead alien, if you will, at this point.
Okay. Let's call this alien Little Chap.
Little Chap. There you go.
Yeah.
Little Chap.
Electro
Chap.
We'll get to that in a minute. I love that about this.
I do too.
Yeah.
In fact, I wish they would have utilized it more.
Yes.
In franchise history as a whole, audience enjoys specific creatures.
Yes.
In
yes,
every,
yes.
even in Alien vs Predator movies, they
Yeah.
enjoy ones that have special markings or anything like
Right,
that.
right,
So
right,
even
right.
in the shittiest films of the franchise, they enjoy setting apart a creature from the rest of the creatures.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think they could have.
And this is the best that I've seen that done.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
because
yes.
that the other time that we've seen that is Alien Resurrection,
Hmm. Yeah.
which we won't talk about.
I mean,
but
I'll
and
probably
the
talk
whole
about it way too much in the franchise
yes.
video.
But in this, I love the whole setup for that too, and
Yes.
why that happens.
Yeah.
Fede Alvarez, I think. Yeah, well, there's no thinking. He knows the Xenomorph.
Yes.
He knows the franchise. He knows the first movie and the second movie really well. And yes, if you have a cattle prod stuck into your vagina and it's shocking you in the fucking forehead, I mean, I mean, I think we've
I'm
entered a
sorry.
new territory
I don't
here.
know why I'm just like envisioning just like babies getting prodded through their birth holes all the time now. Thank you,
Well,
Fede.
yes.
But that's what happens.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
So,
happens.
I mean, he got his cat and is like zapping the fuck out of it,
Hmm.
and and it makes sense because
It
the
does.
Xenomorph is still being formed in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So our little chap is still being formed in there. It zaps him in the head. He's got this big grotesque scar thing, whatever, and
Mhm.
in the clear part of his dome, and it picks up that characteristic of
Yeah.
that electromagnetic. Okay, but that
Electricity.
yeah, and I love that about it because the Xenomorph is that.
Yes.
I mean, that's what it is. You
Yeah.
know, it picks up, the traits of the host,
Yep.
and now we know that if anything happens to it in that womb, it picks that up also.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I do too. I love it too. And that is, yes, part of that is because of Prometheus and that, but that's always been a franchise thing, even before that.
Yeah.
Whatever is, Alien 3, one of the like two good things that's aggressive. One of the several good things about Alien 3 was the whole dog, it coming out of the dog and then the
Or
Xenomorph
ox.
or ox, yeah. Depending on still want that queen face hugger, even though the idea of its existence doesn't really make sense in the whole spectrum of things. But I still wanted it. Anyway, go too far.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, it's fantastic. I couldn't think of a cooler way to all do this. And
Yeah.
on top of that, the Xenomorph itself, along with the other creatures we've already talked about, face huggers and chest burster, they all look insanely beautiful.
Oh yeah.
The design is so good. Xenomorph is, I mean, arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, creature in film,
And
sci-fi horror history. And so for it to be dealt justice again, and just kind of a return to form, because even if you hated Resurrection, the alien still looks cool. Still looked good.
Yes.
And then we've been missing that for a while.
Yeah.
Even though there was an evolution happening, I get that whole aspect. But man, to see it in its full glory again is just like
And
fangirling out in the theater, like, oh my god.
Yeah. And I thought the arc that was in this part of its head was awesome. But I thought it didn't go far enough. I thought it would be great if it just lit up the whole skull underneath.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been something that we haven't
just kind
seen.
of it just kind of shot all around its head at least. And
it was
an extreme visual instead of just you kind of seeing it here and there. Because again,
yeah, it was.
I think
it was kind of like one of those plasma balls type things. Yeah,
yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
It was really cool.
So I love that.
Yeah.
And see, I wish little chap survived this film so we could see him again.
Yeah. I would like.
I liked that
chap.
Xenomorph that much.
Yeah, I did too. It was fantastic.
It's not just fantastic; it's
fucking tastic. Yeah, that's right. But I don't want to break down the film piece by piece. So we should probably jump ahead a little bit just because we know alien action happens.
Yeah.
We're riding the line. We're jumping back and forth between aliens and alien.
Yeah, okay.
You mentioned that it felt like two different films,
Right.
and for me, it kind of does. But at the same time, I very much feel like it's a sectioned film. We've got an alien portion, we've got an aliens portion, and then we've got a resurrection Prometheus portion.
What we have is an alien portion. Yes. What we have is an aliens portion. And what we have after that is an aliens, resurrection, Prometheus, and Covenant section. Did I cover it?
Yeah,
pretty well.
We got Alien 3 in the shaft, in the elevator shaft. There, we got our Alien 3 moment.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so
we got the infamous.
Yeah, we covered. Yeah,
we covered every film in the franchise, good or bad. Maybe too much fan service.
Yeah, maybe
the aliens line in the elevator shaft. There's a part of me that loves hearing that stuff. Your initial reaction is like, "Yay!" But then immediately you're like, "Fuck, I hate that that's there." It's kind of like having to fart all day, and then you fart, and you're like, "Oh, thank God!" But then you realize you shit yourself. Even though that was a cool sequence with Andy saving the day and jumping down,
I did like that, but that rushed that whole portion too much.
It did. I did really enjoy the. Okay, so we're gonna have to talk about the pulse rifle. I did enjoy the pulse rifle. I thought it was cool.
I did.
I'm not sure why they didn't have those in Aliens, because that would have helped things a lot.
Yeah. Well, maybe on board the Nostromo they weren't allowed weapons. Yeah, because I mean, but anyway, the problem that I had with it was, dude was showing her how to use it, and it was like,
Hicks and Ripley all over again.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, don't do this, don't do that.
Too much.
Yeah, that's fan service. Just stop jerking me off.
Yeah,
So
I only want to be jerked off so much. Like there's an extent, and it's too much. So
it's like I came 10 minutes ago, and now it's just like rubbing me raw.
It's the franchise's fault. Everything is vaguely sexual, no matter how you go about it. It's not our fault.
Yeah, it's not our fault. It's not our fault.
But pulse rifle, I think they're cool. And the whole sequence, the aliens sequence, if you will, where we find out there's a ton of aliens.
Yeah, but the thing I did not like about the pulse rifle is it's way cooler than the pulse rifle in Aliens.
In Aliens, yeah.
It's way fucking cooler.
Where were those at in Aliens?
Yeah, it has this
auto aim
or
aim assist, I think.
Aim assist, yes, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
It's like got this plate that's behind your shoulder, and the gun actually fucking it's like holy fuck, where was that weapon?
So, but my kid went with one of my children one of my boys went with me, and he loves Aliens and he loves Fortnite. So when that happened, I leaned over and whispered aimbot to him. Anybody who's a Fortnite fan would get that, and he thought that was extremely funny. It's probably a dad joke, but they complain about people having aimbots in Fortnite all the time, so auto aims for you.
And
so
gotcha.
I also felt bad because here's another one of the reasons I did it is because I felt a little bad that he was with me, because from another perspective, I did not find this film really terrifying at all. Hardly at all.
It wasn't.
But he at times was scared.
Oh yeah.
And so it was interesting to see. I don't want him to be scared, but for me, it's like, the movie. It's a fun experience,
right?
But seeing that, I was like, oh, it can be scary for somebody else. Just because I'm not scared doesn't mean the film is not inherently scary or terrifying in certain aspects, because somebody else definitely was. And he's not a toddler, so
right. Well, I get that. Yeah.
Maybe somebody that's not as tenured as we are, that's not desensitized maybe so much.
Right.
There maybe is something to say for that, because
I mean, I remember first time I saw Alien was in the theater in 1979. I was 10 years old, and it scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah, as it should, because it's terrifying. It's a terrifying film. It still is
Yes.
to this day.
So,
Am I terrified when I watch it? No, but
so I'm like, okay, I'm happy to hear that somebody
yeah,
this movie actually
yeah,
scared them.
it did have an effect, and
Okay.
so
Okay.
there was, and I don't enjoy my child being scared. That was not the point.
Right,
But the
right.
fact that he was enjoying the ride, the fact that he
Yes.
had.
He was
that
having
he was
fun with
affected
it and
by
having
the
fun
film.
being
Yeah,
scared.
it was affected by the film, you know, and at moments he was, you know, thinking it was cool because he thinks xenomorphs are cool. And then there were moments where he was like,
Oh, Xenomorph's
and
scary all of a
he
sudden.
even
Yeah,
audibly jumped at one point.
Oh, nice.
And it was one of the stupid jump scares.
Oh.
It wasn't with an alien or anything, but it was still, it's effective because jump scares still technically work.
Yes.
Whether it's a creature or not, or whether it's just using music and something, you know, getting banged around or something. Anyway, the long story short, my point was, it is, although it didn't have that effect on us, and it's too bad it didn't because it makes us enjoy it less. It did have that effect on somebody. Anyway, back to the rushed aliens portion of Romulus. When we do finally use the pulse rifle, which we've all been waiting for since the moment we saw it, because I don't know about you, but that is like one of the most glorious sounds in the world to me, is the sound of a pulse rifle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so that was great. But the way they used it and the way that they used the gravitation, so the acid blood would not eat through the bottom of the ship.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was a smart, well thought out sequence. It's too bad that the sequence prior to that and after that felt a little bit rushed, because that in itself was such a really great set piece, I thought.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really great, unique. Again, it's like there are pockets of absolute
genius
in this film.
Yes, there are. And you know, here's the thing. This is Fede Alvarez's third movie.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is it's an achievement.
I mean, so.
Really,
the dude deserves accolade.
He first did the remake of Evil Dead, and then he did Don't Breathe, which I really liked. And this movie has a lot of Don't Breathe in it.
It does.
It does. I mean, just the whole thing that breaking into a house to steal some shit. Well, we go to a space station to steal some shit.
Man, imagine if they would have tried to take a turkey baster to an alien.
Moving on.
I really wish I would have had one with me that I could just like.
All right.
Fasten it with a squeaker, maybe. Anyway, back to Fede. I enjoy him as a filmmaker. I
do too.
Evil Dead divided a lot of fans. I absolutely love the Evil Dead franchise. I love the original Evil Dead. I am one of the few that I don't really enjoy Evil Dead 2, but I love Army of Darkness. I love the Evil Dead remake. I love his Evil Dead remake. I really do.
And at first, when I finally did watch it, I was like, I don't know. But then the more I got to thinking about it, it was the whole Ash thing. Ash wasn't in it, but I'm glad he wasn't now. Because it's a different movie. It's Evil Dead, but it's different.
I don't think they ever should have marketed it as a remake.
Right.
Because I feel
it's
this
a re-envisioning.
I feel this in Alien Romulus. Like, yes, there's a lot of things that connect it to make it a quasi remake of some things, but it's its own entry into the franchise. I really think they would have been better off playing the Evil Dead film as just an entry into the franchise. This is just an Evil Dead film. It happens within the universe. You know, I think it would have worked. It would have settled better with fans if it wasn't like this was a remake of one of the most classic horror films of all time. I do think Fede is an incredibly talented director and filmmaker.
I think so.
I think he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And I think with a film like Romulus, I think he was playing some things extremely safe, and I can only blame him so much for that. And also, we talk about studio interference. How much Ridley Scott interference was there in this film?
You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Are we moving to the very end now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's, one more. Yeah. Let's.
So I feel like. I feel like this is two separate movies, so I got to change things up a little bit here. Okay. I feel like when we finally hit the end of the film,
Uh-huh.
everything changes.
Mhm.
Okay. The film could have been over.
It could
It could have been
honestly
over.
it
And this whole ending just seems like an afterthought to me. Seems like that. Okay, the film, from what I understand, the film was done, and then there were reshoots
mhm.
that happened. And I'm
I
like, I
imagine
think this stuff was reshoots.
I
It
I
really feels like an
think it might
afterthought.
have been, and I think part of that was because of Ridley Scott.
I
Because I
I think
think
so too.
because of the way that Prometheus and Covenant went, I think he really, really wanted to solidify it into the previous or the prequel entries into the
Right.
franchise.
And
So
I
we
don't
had to
know.
really just jam it down your throat that it was, and
Yeah.
it was a massive miss
It was a swing and a
for me.
miss. It definitely
So
was.
horribly.
But here's the thing. The whatever this creature is at the end
Mhm.
is fucking terrifying.
Oh, it is absolute.
It is.
It is absolute nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit
it's
this film.
nightmare fuel is what a good friend of mine referred to it as, and he was spot on because it's grotesque.
Yeah.
But I also just hate it. I can't get
Yeah.
past it. I
Yeah. Yeah.
don't
Yeah. Yeah.
like it.
I
I get the
it's a
design.
different movie.
It
This movie
may
just
the design and how it looks and what it is makes sense in the grand scheme, I
right.
guess. Again, maybe
According
if
to
Prometheus
Prometheus
and
and Covenant,
Covenant, we
yeah.
could have had a. I thought. I don't know if I was hoping or thinking at this point, but because there is a lot of tension in the setup for the birth of this thing. I'll give them that. And on the
Yeah.
second viewing, I did notice that the egg pod sac is very reminiscent of an OG alien egg. But I was thinking we were going to get a version of a queen alien. I thought that's what was going to happen. I didn't think we were going to, even though it's technically a step forward and we're fucking with evolution and we've
Right.
not seen this yet because we haven't had this certain set of sequences happen for birthing. But I felt like we were stepping back in the franchise instead of
To the
moving
engineers.
forward. Yeah,
'Cause
to
this
the
had a
engineers. And I'm like, I'm done with the
yeah,
engineers.
yeah,
We've
yeah.
already dealt with that. We've moved past it.
Right.
I am over it. I don't want any more of
Yeah.
it. We are, as much as I want Xenomorphs, we did the work in Covenant, which was, yes, I know I said it was too fast, but it was. But we're in Romulus now. We're in way far Xenomorph. But I was thinking we were going to get some version of a queen instead of like
that would have been better for this alien movie.
yeah. But
Would have been way better.
we got the
Yeah.
Prometheus version of the newborn from Resurrection, and
Yes,
I
exactly.
like the newborn better
Exactly.
than
Yeah.
Resurrection
Yeah.
than I like this.
Yeah.
Even though it's disgusting, it's well made, but I don't like it. I don't like
Right,
it.
right,
It
right.
kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah.
And if that honestly, if this ending did not exist,
I would have
I
liked the
would
film better.
I would have
I
I would have really liked the film at this point
well,
because the
okay.
more I talk about it and think about it, the more I like other aspects of the film. I think I'm going to end up really enjoying about 70% of this movie.
Yeah.
75 maybe.
I
Even
agree with
loving
that.
like
Yeah.
60 to 70% of it. But
If this quarter of the film was gone
mhm.
and there's more tension and buildup to the birth of Little Chap,
Yeah.
we would have something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then Little Chap doing a lot more stalking of the characters.
Yeah.
Little Chap. I wonder who else is going to start calling
Little chap.
Little Chap.
It started here.
It started here.
We're going to have to get one day we're going to have merch and Little Chap will be
Yes.
yeah, we're going to have a Little Chap.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
the sequence of her pregnancy
That was gross.
speeding up and the actual happening was grotesque, and I was all for it because I was like, oh man, this
Yeah.
is intense,
And
this is gross. And then God, it just the reveal is what killed it for me.
yeah. But when it came and to find the mother and breastfeed,
Uh,
I'm like, holy, okay, whoa.
you know,
And
I remember this.
breastfeeding the black goo
Yeah,
was fucking
yeah. You
insane.
know, the first viewing, I was kind of like, I think I was just reeling from what was going on and how much I disliked it. But I was still trying to like, did she reach into her boob and grab that from her boob? You know, because she's now emitting that as her mommy milk, and that's what it was doing. Because a lot of people, and I've looked online, they thought it was just killing her and eating her. Because
I never
and
I never
so,
took it that way. I thought he was sucking.
but that is fucking gross.
Okay, let's.
I remember this feeling from Barbarian.
Yes. Let's take this whole ending and put it at the end of a demonic possession movie type in a house type.
Ooh, yeah.
This would be the creepiest fucking ending to a demonic, to
Yeah.
an exorcist type movie or something like that we'd ever seen.
It was just,
Just leave
not-
everything the way it fucking is, but put it inside of a house, and it's so out of place here.
and that makes me dislike it even more, because it makes me dislike it more as a whole, because everything before that I find myself growing more and more attached to and enjoying it
Right.
more and more and more the more I marinate on the thing as a whole.
If anything, this was fan service for Ridley Scott.
I think so. This is Scott
So-
service.
Yeah, this is Scott service.
And again, that's why I worry about the level of gatekeeping he has on this franchise. I mean, it's an Alien film, so I knew there was going to be an after sequence on the
Right.
ship, because it's an Alien film, and I don't dislike that. It is
Right.
and it is part of the franchise. It is what it is. So
Yeah.
if it's going to happen in every film, honestly, I'm going to be okay with that. But it's just maybe a different, I don't know. And it teach their own. There are people out there who really love this part of it.
I don't hate any of it. I love it, but not in this film.
Not in this film. It
Yeah,
doesn't belong here.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what? But if they were to give Fede another Aliens film, I'm all for it.
I would be too.
Maybe he can make the next one with James Cameron.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Ridley Scott was involved.
I don't
That's
know
just
either.
me. I'm just being an ass about it.
There are theories. There are our hypotheses.
Yes, and they do not disagree with some other ones I went digging around for. Just overall, I do enjoy the movie. I am more than happy. It just you'll hear this a lot from Star Wars fans. If there's Star Wars on the screen, they don't care.
Right.
And at the end of the day, as much as I hate some things about the Alien franchise or some of the movies, I'm not going to stop go seeing them. I'm going to be more happy to see an Alien film on the screen that I dislike than no Alien at all.
Right.
I will always want Xenomorphs.
Oh, me too. Me too. And I put this one above Resurrection now.
So yeah, I was thinking about that because again, and I was talking to a good friend of mine, the Nightmare Fuel guy. I was telling him that there was a part of me that really wanted a solidified third spot in the franchise.
Yeah, me too. I was hoping this would be the third one,
and this would have it bar none without the ending.
Yeah. I would agree.
I would agree. But at the same time, I think it is slowly working its way to staying in that spot, because as a whole, any other film of the franchise, I'm just enjoying pockets of.
Right.
Whereas Romulus now, I've come to pretty much enjoy everything up until the ending, as a whole.
So yeah,
we did get a movement signal, sort of.
Oh yeah,
callback.
Yeah, we did
with that. So again, fan servicey, but not. I didn't feel like I got pelted in the face with it.
Right.
I was like, oh, cool.
Right.
They used it just a couple times, and that was it. And they weren't using it for tracking. So we've probably gone on way too long about this.
Yeah, we probably have. So give birth on that like button for us, and
birth that like but second mouth that like is there a term for the second mouth?
I don't know. Just John Holmes, that bitch.
And Alien just
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
like, but yeah.
Oh,
there's
like from Resurrection, where the
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Do that to the light bulb.
Resurrection.
Resurrection that
light
light
bulb. Okay, like, share, and subscribe.
Like,
I
share,
think we're done now.
subscribe, come back. Bye.
Oh.